What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? It is I, James, readoptionagency.com. 22 years selling full-time on eBay. And baby girl, she heard a little change up. I started the video, then Jan called, so I've been talking to Jan, so I guess she thought maybe I was done because she heard something different over here. But anyway, so I got to start over again. I was only about 5 minutes in anyway, so. I shipped an item already. I shipped it right out of the gate. It was a True Gather order. CD going to Germany, sold for $6.30, I believe, or something like that. So, and that's sold on True Gather. And then also, let's see, what did I talk about already? I talked about, I closed Bonanza. When they started charging that $2 extra for, if you don't ship on their website, they're going to charge you $2. Like, who does that? So, I shut that down quick. I've had Bonanza since, I don't even know how long I've had Bonanza. At least 15 years. But they don't give me enough sales anymore to even worry about trying to figure out how to ship on their website. So when I shut it down, I put, when they asked reasons why, and can they contact you, I put, yeah, sure, you can contact me. And I put, charging $2 if we don't use your shipping is the dumbest idea ever, and closed. So I'm curious to see how many sellers they lose over that. Or sales or whatever. So, no. They lost mine, but like I said, it wasn't big enough to worry about anyway. So, if they ever change, all I have to do is click a couple buttons and get it back up. So, no big deal. But anyway, on another note, I took down yesterday morning's video because apparently there's a lot of people who don't like the fact that you can benefit from owning an eBay business. Or they see running an eBay business is different than an actual business. I don't know. Terms like skirting taxes. Really? And those people, I don't mind the hate toward me and stuff. But when it gets to name calling, that's when I'm like, you know what? Let's close this down. Shut it off. Block a few people. Close it down. So I don't like negativity to be around for an extended period of time. So I just I deleted the video, and probably mostly because I was in a vulnerable, weak state mentally. So if you watched yesterday's video, you know I took my payroll down from $60,000 a year to $40,000 a year on the actual pay part, not counting the disbursements and the equivalents too, of course. But so I think I was still in that state, like feeling like, you know, kind of like a failure because I had to take a step back. But a lot of you guys, I've read those comments too. You made good points. Hard times, businesses have to adjust. You have to do things, you know. And that's just the way it is right now. As I said yesterday, it's a volatile time right now, just across the board. So, for the various reasons that we constantly talk about. So, and probably some I don't even know about. So that being said, it makes getting to my daily goal a lot easier than it was before. Before, it was $600 a day I have to make on eBay. And I've just, like I said yesterday, just concentrating on eBay. Everything else is bonus money. That's like disbursement money and what have you. Or money to help pay down the vacation debt. So, so now that magic number instead of $600 is $430. So, yesterday I made it to 521. Ding! So even now, the way I looked at 521 prior to this is I didn't make my goal. Oh, this sucks. And when that kept happening over and over again, because of all these different variables, it dragged me down. It just beats me. Well, now I'm $90 over. So that $90 is basically disbursement money now. So I got to look at it like that. So, of course, if it won't be disbursement money if tomorrow is $90 short. But you know what I'm getting at. it's easier to make the daily goals. So I'm happy with that. Sold 28 items yesterday, 9 organic, 19 promoted. I did drop the percentages down. I got rid of the 21s because it didn't make sense pulling the same numbers or close to the same numbers, giving up that much more percentage. So I did 12 and 14. 12 on my $10 and less, $9.99 and less, and 14 on my $10 and higher. And my impressions dropped down from 1.3 million to 971,000. So I'm curious to see what today will be. Today, 3 sold, and they're all promoted. It is saying we are at 8:15 in the morning, so $56. So, even that compared to what some of the shutdown nights are like, I'm not mad at $56 at 8:15. I should be, but compared to the way it has been, I'm not. Will it ever get back to pulling in $200 overnight before I wake up? I don't know. My international stuff has just vanished. I don't know what changed on that department to make the international stuff just vanish. Maybe that has to do with the price of my items since I took the sales off, because it takes, more money to ship an item overseas. So maybe that was kind of hurting those international sales. That being said, I did have the coupon on. I had 40% coupon on my 2020 items, 30% coupon on my 2021 items, and a 20% coupon on my 2022 items. Then next year, I'll put 10% on my 2023 items, is the way I'm going to do it now. So I had coupons, and they don't really seem to be performing. Not as... So this morning, I ended the coupons and just turned them on sales instead. So my sales now is my 2020 items. That's the oldest items in my store. I do got older, and I'm not sure if I have in the past put them in that envelope or that folder, or they're just out there. I will probably see that as I'm organizing, whether I look at it and it's on sale or not. If I know that, hey, this has been in the store 5 years and it's not on sale, then I can move that item into my 2020 folder, and then it'll be on sale and maybe move a little quicker. So, and then I took the coupon off of the hats and t-shirts because it seemed like they weren't really working. As you'll see now, the hats I did sell today were all like offers. So I'm like, all right, instead of putting my hats back on sale at 30% off, let's put these other folders on sale, and now let me check how many hats are on sale. So I got 13,000 hats in my store total, and all of them that are now on sale is 8,500. I go, that's good enough. And then so that means anything that's not on sale is probably hats I put up this year. And then, like I said, there might be some stragglers that are older that I'll pick up on as I'm doing my organizing thing. But I'm like, so that'd be what, 4,500 hats not on sale, right? Yeah. So that's good enough. I'll leave those off sale. I mean, in a month and a half, they'll go on at sale at 10% anyway. So, and then the year I am listing, nothing's going on sale for that year that I'm listing. So since that'll be the newest stuff, so I'm going to run this. I feel comfortable with these settings. Now let's see if they seem fair on both sides, right? To me. So from all the changes I've done and all the things I did, this seems like a calming, like, this is fair. Giving eBay this much, not giving eBay that much. Letting the customers get good deals on this stuff, my newer stuff. You either send an offer or you pay full price. So I like the balance. I feel harmony right now. And isn't that weird? I hope it comes to fruition, because like all the crap I've done to try different things, doing this feels right. So we will see if it pays off or not. That'll be the true test. If I'm just a nutcase or if there's something to it. So, nutcase. What you talking about? I'm not crazy. What do you mean, what's on my head? Nothing's on my head. Why? Why are you asking? All right, so we will see. So I shipped my True Gather order already. Got a couple Poshmarks, and we got the eBay orders. I probably don't have no comments since I deleted yesterday's video. I do got the what sold video. Let's see, I got one here. When an item gets auto relisted after 30 days, will it show up in newly listed, or only new, never before listed items show up as newly listed? Yeah, only end and sell similar or brand new item shows up as newly listed. When it's relisted after 30 days by eBay themselves, it does not show up in new listings. And somebody answered, no, they will not. You will have to manually end them and click them and sell similar. So correct. So there you go. Thank you for answering that for me. Watching some YouTube videos. I'm having a problem comprehending words squished together today. Watching some YouTube videos. For some reason, it keeps looking like, every time I look at it, I see two U's, Y-O-U's. Weird. On yesterday's what sold video, no, the day before's what sold video, this video tells me there are really people are really stupid about the things they buy and the prices they buy it for. That's not really nice, calling people stupid. See, that's the kind of thing I'm going to delete. Nobody needs to be called names. Come on now. Stop being juvenile. A jovial juvenile. James, turn off your promoted listings. I have 1 million organic views, still up to 6 items per day sold, and no promotional fees. Well, when I turn mine off, I don't even get 1 million organic views. I don't get 1 million views with it all turned on. And if I sold 6 items a day, I'd go bankrupt. Sorry. This is not going to work for me, unfortunately. I wish it would, but it won't. That was the one that kind of confused me the other day. And I think these others I kind of already went through. So we don't really have nothing to talk about today since I deleted the negativity yesterday. So some people just, the name calling I just don't deal with. Don't like. No point in that. Just because you don't agree with the way business can be ran doesn't give you the right to call people names. I mean, do you ever think about talking to a tax person and finding out yourself? Things I do were told to me by various tax people over the years, so I've been doing this 22 years. So. You tell me. No, actually, don't tell me. I don't care. Don't tell me. I don't care. I don't care. I gotta see if I think my internet connection was acting up yesterday because it was taking forever to upload videos. So curious to see how long this one will take to upload. All right. let's ship some orders real quick so I can get to listing. I'm going to get back to my live channel. Was it Reality of Reselling? But I don't know if I'm going to do it today. I might wait another week before I go live, because right now I'm just enjoying the music being turned up. The music I listen to turned way up, since I can't. I wish I could do the video with music playing. I got to figure out how people get away with like the copyright thing. So I know you can like click on something on the video to proclaim that you are using the video as something other than the music. So I'm sure I could probably do that. I just don't know if it's worth taking a chance if it's an artist that's really strict and your account does get a strike, you know? Because there are, like, I think like the Eagles. Like, I don't listen to the Eagles anyway. But a band like the Eagles, I think they're really strict. And if you do their music on YouTube, they don't back down, which is stupid, really, in my opinion. I mean, if you do anything, you at least get part of the share revenue. So, when there is some, that channel don't have any. But, so it really, and plus, all these younger people doing reacts to older music, that just makes people go and download and stream things more, and you make more money overall. So I get that they don't like it because it's a big change from the record store days. But how bad did the record labels screw you back then, you know? But then again, the Eagles may not even own their material anymore. It might be still owned by a record label or somebody else. It's like something like the Beatles music. I think Michael Jackson had bought it from a record label. He owned it until he died. And I think Sony bought it after him, after he passed away, when it went up for sale or something. So I think Sony owns the Beatles. So I guess it depends on who owns the Beatles or who owns the song rights. And if two various people own the song rights, then there could be conflicts there. Kind of like there was things going on with like the band Cinderella, and it might have been cleared up by now, but there was some struggles there with who owned the rights and stuff, I believe. And then there's things like the band like Motley Crue, who was able to get their rights completely from the record label, in a situation where when they changed singers, their sales declined, but they were still under contract for another album. And that album would have cost the record company, say, $1 million, right? But if they knew they weren't going to get a return on their investment of $1 million, well, they want to just wipe it clean and say, hey, we'll just pay you $1 million to go away. But instead of taking the money, somebody like Nikki Sixx said, no, I want my music back. I want full control of my rights to my music. And they're like, fine, take it. And they do that because then they don't have to pay, because the band still under contract could say, oh, we're going to sit in the studio for 5-6 months and we're going to spend $5 million to make this record, knowing that it's not going to make that money back. And the record label just wants to wipe their hands of it and move on, so they don't take that huge loss. That's the way it used to kind of work. So I think there should be a better model where I think what's weird, it seems like, is things like Spotify and stuff compared to like a YouTube video. Like if a band puts out their music on a YouTube video and their channel is monetized, they're going to make more money on people listening to their YouTube video music than they would on the Spotify. There's got to be like I think a combination there that needs to come together. From what I understand how everything works. There may be more to it than what I actually know, but from what I've read and seen and heard from artists and things like that, and kind of pieced together. I mean, I know if I was having music, sure, I'd put it on Spotify and make my pennies here and there. But first thing I'd do would be making video and just putting the music on the video some way, some form, and trying to promote that to get the views. Because if you get, like me, if my video gets, say, if my channel gets like 4,000 views in a day, that's like $60. So if a band who maybe was once popular could get 50 views or 4,000 views a day, you know, sure, it's nothing great compared to what they probably used to make, but my point is, I think it's better than Spotify or streaming music platforms. So why not add that into the arsenal? I'm just thinking outside the box again. All right, let's go. Let's get some stuff shipped. All right, do we got any international other than True Gatherer this morning? Boop, 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 boop. Nope. Again, no international overnight. So hopefully that is just the pricing of my items not being on sale. And now that I put my older items on sale, maybe that will pick up, the international pickup. Because that's another thing I don't take in effect too, is the international eBay sales when I go look at my money for the day, because it doesn't show up on the U.S. seller hub. I have to switch it over to the UK or Germany or whatever to actually see that money. So I don't know that money until it adds to the next day and goes into the bank or whatever. So I don't add that money in either. But when it's non-existent, it's non-existent. First up, we've got Shagway Brewing Company hat out of Alaska. Headed to Wisconsin, sold for $7.50. So looks like I am out of tape here. I know I got a box in there somewhere. Now I got to find it. That's going to be the problem. Got a little bit left on it. Thought it was going to end there because it got tough. Boom, 6. Thomas. Dude, yesterday, was it day before yesterday, on my way to the post office, we got a diamond-shaped intersection. And so as I'm switching over and then coming back, somebody comes off the highway and runs the red light, and right in front of me, and I slammed on the brakes. My mail and I was driving the new truck, so the very back of the truck all flew forward into behind my seat and in the front of the truck. That's how hard I slammed on the brakes, and I ended up getting a little slice somehow. I don't know what hit me, or a package paper cut. I don't know, but got a little slice somehow. And I've just hit those brakes and at the same time just plowed on that horn. And then I just kept it there. I kept it there. I'm like, I've never been that mad and that close to an accident that didn't happen before. And then this morning, that's why I had to stop the video, because Jan called. She's on her way to work. And she's, I think, 270 to 40. The traffic is slowing down. Somebody decides not to slow down and goes around her and smacks the car beside her. She said parts went flying everywhere, but didn't hurt her car, thankfully. So the Volvo was like a magnet for accidents. It was sideswiped 3 times. Hopefully this one is not leading in that direction also. It was bad. Real Tree women's baseball cap. Headed to Phoenix City, Alabama. Sold for $8. Just too many people not paying attention. And I don't know. Too fast and not paying attention, I guess. I saw at the end of one of my shows I was watching, I saw the beginning of one. I'm like, oh, I wish I would have taped that. Where they were talking about the drone cars, basically. The people, seats 3, it's basically a drone for people. It'll take you where you want to go. A taxi, of essence. Your self-driving drone flying car. I'm like, oh, I wish I would have saw that. That was pretty cool. How awesome would it be just to get into a drone, say Smoky Mountains, sit back and enjoy the views. That would be, I hope I'm alive for that. I really do. That's going to be so awesome. Best Kisser in the World CD. Headed to Ohio, sold for $9.95. That's what I kind of like about this new setup too, going higher and higher with the percentages off. Like if I use my lowest price is $9.95, you know, if you wait 4 years, it'll be 40% off if you want it. But you know, you could send an offer, obviously. If I'm taking if somebody sends me an offer for $4, it's sold, you know, on that stuff. So it's a good way to keep track of my items and the value, and if they're overvalued, if you will. So Matthew. So I'm curious to see how today will play out. Changing the coupons over to an actual sale. We got this little 10 Boston Bruins keychain. Jan found I think it was me or Jan, one of us, found a bunch of these from different hockey teams over at the bins several months ago. One finally sold that I can remember. I think this is the first. But it sold for $10.50. Headed to Maine. Man, this sinus stuff is just too much. Too much. It's never enough. Too much. I hate the rain and sunny weather. I hate the beach and mountains too. Boo-hoo. I don't like to think about the city. No, no. I hate the countryside too. And I hate everything about you. Do you ever think there would be a song about hate but be so happy and fun to sing? Oh, I wish I made the comment yesterday about when somebody sends me an email. Sends me an email about a distressed hat saying, how can you sell this? And that hat usually sells. Where that hat didn't sell, but 2 other kind of one distressed hats sold after that. Then the one last night was a Kangol that was totally distressed, ended up selling. And Adrian ended up shipping that. But we got another stained, faded one here. Chicago Bears hat sold for $10. Headed to Harker Heights, Texas. Texas. All right, tape. You only have to last 2 more boxes. Will you? The rest goes in baggies. One down. Do. Sam. Next up, we've got the River City Rascals hat. Sold for $10.50, headed to California. Oh, but I'm out of boxes. Stay up there. Do not fall. Dun, 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 dun. I hate the rain and sunny weather. I hate the beach and mountains too. Your neighbor. This job, please. Ronald. Next up, Pete Seeger. 2 cassettes. Sold for $13, headed to Pennsylvania. Boom, boom, boom. Mallory. I always lose weight on vacation. So before I left, I was like 197. And I weighed last night, and I'm 191. So I'm like, oh, that's good. Headed in the right direction. Sure, it may be water weight at first, but hey, still headed in the right direction. Next up, we got the Drew Johnson Band CD. And that sold for $20, headed to across the river, Illinois. I think this is a local thing. I've probably got several of these in storage, and they never sold over the years, so they've probably been delisted at times, because this was recently put back up and ended up selling. So, boom. Elizabeth gets that. And the final eBay order are these Vallejo Atlas high tops sneakers. And those sold for $17. Headed to Kansas. Yourself too. And I hate everything about you. Do-do-do-do. We got 2-0. Shirley. And stop calling me Shirley. All right. Review purchase. This eating less food though. I'm hungry like right now, so I gotta find something, a little snack on when I go to the post office. Something small. I've just never seen that before. 7 parcels drop off at USPS for USPS Ground Advantage. 1 parcel drop off at USPS for USPS Media Mail. 1 parcel drop off at USPS for USPS Priority Mail. And I already bought them, so I forgot to see that Priority Mail. I didn't even notice that. That was the shoes, and it was only $7, so that was probably the cheapest route, so that's probably all right. Oh, I do got one more hat to Poshmark. So you gotta last one more hat. Tape. Shirley. Stop calling me Shirley. Boom, boom, boom. Elizabeth. Mallory. The daughter of my old tax person who passed away. Oh. That's her name. That's probably not her, but Ronald. I knew a Ronald when I was a kid growing up on my street. He didn't live there long. His name was Ronald King. I used to play Hot Wheels with him for a while. He wasn't around very long. How do I remember his name then? I don't know. Maybe because we played Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels were cool. And still are. Sam. I don't know a Sam that I can think of. Victoria? Got no Victoria stories I can think of. Matthew. One of my mom's best friends growing up, one of her sons that I went to school with was named Matthew. We never really hung out or anything. He was more of a hardcore Hoosier than I was, since I was a little dweeby nerd, if you will. Rodney. A friend I grew up with, Dacry, his cousin, who came around every once in a while, was named Rodney. Yeah, I remember he'd always just coming around like, I don't remember. I remember him like stirring things up, but I think it was like more in a fun way, stirring things up. Like he liked to joan and stuff, so and of course we liked to joan growing up. You know what joning means? Joning. And Thomas was one of my good friends in elementary school, all the way, and I knew him all the way through, I think it was freshman year of high school. And I'm friends with him on Facebook now, too. So, there you go. All right, a couple of Posh orders. We've got Shelter General Insurance Company hat. That sold for $7. Going to Arkansas. And I don't have no Ernest stories. Don't know anyone named Ernest. I've probably forgotten more people's names than I can remember. And next up on Posh. We've got Manchester City soccer. Ugly Christmas sweater on a t-shirt. That sold for $24. headed to California. Lacey. I know two Lacey's. Well, kind of. I know a Facebook Lacey and another friend Lacey used to work at Prime Soul, which was a shoe store that was here. That was the shoe store I used to do consignment for. And Lacey was one of the main people there. She worked there. The other Lacey is just a Facebook friend who is into, like, she does like ghost tours of St. Louis. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, man. All right. That is all for today. Got the True Gather knocked down. I got an email here from Vendu wanting to do a collaboration video. So I don't know what that will entail. The thing about these, though, it says, let me know if you're interested. They'll sponsor a couple of videos. We could have a quick call tomorrow to discuss the details. You know what turns me off about this email? And I got to get over it. But I'm in that headspace right now, so I'm not responding. The word call. I just have this thing where I hate talking on the phone. I hate, like, if Jan wants me to say, hey, can you call so-and-so today and do this? I'll be the person who drives there first. More times than not. I have to convince myself to call. I don't know what started that or where it came from. It wasn't like that when I was younger. But I don't like phone calls. I have to build myself up to do them. And then when it's over 30 seconds later, I'm like, James, what the hell's wrong with you? It makes no sense. Stop being a dumbass. It's weird. People's heads can be weird sometimes. I think I know where it came from, but did I click? Okay, I didn't click that yet. Because I used to have some nightmare situations in person and on the phone, just trying to see my daughter. That would always, but you had to deal with a mother who her sole purpose was to make sure you don't see your daughter, type of thing. And it eventually worked. After $100,000 of court fees and a decade of trying and kinda, and a decade of being a part of her life on weekends, every other Wednesday, but only on weekends where she didn't play a game or she didn't take her out of school or not send her to school. Like, she would just not send her to school on Wednesday because she knew I had to pick her up and it was my Wednesday. That's the kind of stuff. And I would deal with that. That's just the light end of what we had to deal with. Some of the other stuff was, if you want to hear, when Alex was 10, the oldest, the mother was always making up stories to call the cops or whoever. They would just show up at her door. Yeah, we've got word that you kidnapped Jamie. What? It's my weekend. The Maryland Heights Police eventually just stopped taking her calls after probably like 5 or 6 because they understood what's going on. And of course they can't get involved. They're just there to do their job or whatever. But she would go to as far as to call whoever you call and say Alex at 10 years old and my daughter at 7 years old, that he raped her. So then we've got all these people here questioning Alex at 10 about things that he didn't need to know about at 10, essentially robbing him of his innocence, if you will, which pisses me off. Oh, on one occasion trying to pick up my daughter on a Friday because it was my weekend, and she didn't send her to school, so I just pulled up in front of, made the phone call, said, hey, I'm in front of the house to pick up Jamie. And instead of Jamie coming out, the grandma comes out and starts pouring gasoline on the car. Yeah, that's the stuff I had to deal with. But a lot of the phone call abuse was part of that, and I think that's where I started hating talking on the phone, because I knew that every call was going to be a nightmare. Every visitation trip that was rightfully mine was going to be a nightmare. I still, when I drive to certain parts of the area where they lived, my hands will literally start shaking. And this has been many years now. I mean, she is older now. She's, 27 now? But, of course, I tried to rekindle everything, but she's basically turned into a spitting image of her mother. When I was part of her life, she was A's and B's in school. Her final words to me as a youngin' when she was 13 goes, I don't want to come over anymore. I want my mom to love me again. And at that point, I was just already so broken from not just that, but what my boys here had to go through, what Jan had to go through, spending $100,000 in court fees. I threw my hands up at that moment, said, I'm done. If that's what you want, go. You're 13, go. If you ever change your mind, I'm only a phone call away. And so it wasn't pretty. But yeah, unfortunately, she's into drugs and everything. And when we did try to get together in about 4 or 5 different times, it was all about wanting money. And then she would just badmouth her mom, but then she would put up a Facebook picture at a bar with her mom drinking and stuff the next day. It's like, come on now. And it was always about wanting money. So I'm like, it's one of those situations where you're like, you can't force somebody to be who they're not. So I just hope that one day she wakes up. But I doubt it, because she is an image of her mother now, and the way her mother lived her life. And just out to, having a different guy every month because you need a guy to take care of you. I wouldn't have raised her that way. I didn't raise her that way when I did have part in her life. I was raising her to be very independent. So, I don't know. You never say never. You never know what will happen down the line. So, hopefully one day things will be different. But until then, I just try to do what I can do. And I think, after the last time I wouldn't give her any money, she just blocked me on Facebook and everything. So she even conned a guy out of a car. She was dating this guy. She somehow convinced him that she was going to do this and do that with her life. They were dating. The boy's mother, gets her a new car, puts it in her name only. Once that happened, she was out of there. I mean, from one's perspective, that was a pretty smart move, because that mother was pretty damn stupid. But on the other hand, you don't take advantage of people like that. So it is what it is, I did what I could do, and unfortunately, the legal system fails men in America. So I remember saying to that judge, when I had witnesses, proof that she would take Jamie to drug houses and stuff like that when she was little. I even had the people who were her friends at the time doing drugs there in court. And They would never make me primary custodian, parent. And I remember looking at the judge going, you just screwed her life up. Because I'm a man, you screwed her life up. And probably, I don't remember what year it was. I don't even know if the judge was still alive. I found the judge. I remembered his name because I got all the papers. I've got video recordings like of when they try to throw gasoline on the car. I mean, I recorded when I started recording everything. Recorded phone calls. We take the video camera every time we go to pick her up. It was before the phones, really. So everything, I got a box full of everything. So I had the judge's name. So I wrote the judge a letter telling him how he screwed up my daughter's life, what he did, case number, if he wanted to go back and right his wrongs, or not really right his wrongs, but to check his ego, if you will. I'm sure that never happened. He probably never even got the letter. But yeah. So why did I just go on that tangent? Because of a phone call. But I think and I guess I gotta give some in-depth details. I think that's what soured me on phone calls. Because it was always a nightmare. And anyway, all right, I'm done. I'll talk to y'all later.